Today, hundreds of workers at the Atlanta-based CDC are back on the job after being fired just before the weekend started. Now, that's according to the American Federation of Government Employees. Of the 1,300 CDC workers who received layoff notices at the end of the day Friday, 700 found out that they're being reinstated. A Department of Health and Human Services official blamed the mistake on a coding error.